So, very, very, very often in AP Calc, you'll be asked to write the equation of what's called a tangent line, which we don't need to get into yet. But in order to write the equation of any tangent line or normal line or any sort of, you got to know how to write the equation of a line. So, for most of you, it's just been a long time since you've done this, because it's not really in pre-calc. And then advanced algebra was 2 years ago, and you might not spend a ton of time out of that, and algebra was 4 years ago. And, yeah, so, I got this worksheet here, the practice one. I printed it out, and I'm just going to go through one or two from each section to give you a review of what we're doing here. So, like number one, and I don't think that's too bad, but just in general, you know, the slope of, or the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. That's your slope. That's your y-intercept. That's the general form that we're looking for here. So the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, so we got a plus 4 there, or I'm sorry, minus 4. So I know it must be one of those two. And multiple choice is a lot easier, because you can just look at this line and say, okay, that's a negative slope, it's going down, so it must be b. But just to be a little more precise about it, we did go down 1 and to the right 5. So that's where I get this negative 1/5 x. And that's your equation. 3, slope equals 2, y-intercept is 3, so you know y equals mx plus b. Slope is 2, y-intercept is 3, so we get that. Number 5, let's jump to number 6, just so I have a little more room. So this is just rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. Again, I do not expect this to be difficult for you guys. I just want to review it to make sure that we are extremely solid at it. So I'm solving this for y, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And I'm going to put that negative 3x here so it stays in my mx plus b form. And then divide everything by 2. So y equals negative 3/2 x plus 3. And there you go. So that's just solving for y. The bigger two kinds that I was worried about are coming up. So let's say number 11 here. They give us a point, and they give us a slope. And they want the equation of the line, and that is most typically what happens when you're asked to do equations in AP Calc. So the point slope form for the equation of a line. Well, why is it called point slope form? What information do you have? A point and a slope. Crazy name, right? Point, you know point, you know slope, they call it point slope form. Point slope form is blank times x minus blank plus blank. That's my version of it. Some other people would probably put m there, x1 there, and y1 there. That's up to you. But essentially the point that you have, the point that you know, remember it's point slope form, your x value goes there, your y value goes there. And then the slope goes there. So if I'm doing this number 11, as soon as I see the equation of a line, I'm doing that, like right away every time. Because in Calc, you're not going to be given the slope and the y-intercept. It's just not going to happen. If you knew the slope and the y-intercept, it wouldn't be an interesting Calc problem, so you would not ever get asked that. So you're almost always going to be given a point and a slope, maybe 2 points, but not point and slope. I'm sorry, not y-intercept and slope. So I'm taking the negative 4. Negative 4 goes there. I'm taking the x value, goes there. I'm taking the y value, goes there. There are often times when you will be done. That is it. That's all you have to do. But most of the time, you'll have to solve for y. So you're just distributing and combining like terms. So negative 4x plus 8 plus negative 5. So negative 4x plus 3. So if I go back here, negative 4x plus 3 is d. And we're good. Let me jump to number 12 because it's a little bit different. I hate to do all the ones on the practice for I'll use it to talk about a couple other examples. And I'll say this too, if at any point you want more practice, ask me. They're super easy to make. You can get more practice, and it won't count against you. So number 12 says through 3, 5. We're going to do 2 parts here. So part A, we're going to do slope undefined. That's the question they asked. I'm going to add my own question at the end. So for this one, I'm going to go y. I know a point, right? And I know a slope. There's my point, there's my slope. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to put my point here, 3, 5. And then I go here and I'm like, well, I'm going to write, well, you can't write undefined there. I'm not going to distribute undefined. It's not a number. It's not something I can work with. So this can't go there. That kind of ruins that approach. This specific kind requires you to think through another level of thought process here. So 3, 5, if I graphed it, it'll be right there. You don't necessarily need to do that, but it's not going to hurt. If the slope is undefined, you have to know what kind of line that is. Don't say straight. Think through, is it horizontal or vertical? So an undefined slope. Remember, slope is rise over run. Well, if I have a vertical line, I'm going to go up a lot and over 0. So if I have a vertical line to get from this point to this point, I go up, and then I run 0. So I divide by 0, which is undefined. So a slope that is undefined tells you that you have a vertical line. And then you are supposed to go, oh, well, for a vertical line, I can't use this y equals blank times blank, because vertical lines are not y equals. Vertical lines are x equals. And then you grab the x value of the point, and that would be your equation. Part B, that they didn't ask you, but I am. Let's say it's horizontal. We're still doing 3, 5. But now we got a horizontal line. So now I'm going to go through my process, and I'm going to show 2 ways to do this. One way is people will go, okay, I got my point, bam, bam. I know horizontal means a slope of 0. Horizontal line means I went, if I'm going from this point to this point, I rose 0, and then I went across. So 0 divided by whatever, it's going to be 0. The slope of a horizontal line is 0. So then if you distribute, 0 times this stuff is 0, and you essentially get y equals 5. Well, some of you might have gotten there a little faster and gone, well, I know the point's 3, 5, just like it was before. I know it's horizontal, and horizontal goes straight across. And then I know, y equals mx plus b. Well, the slope is 0, and the y-intercept is 5, so you could just jump to y equals 5 that way, perhaps. And I'm just giving different ways to get to it. And you guys have all done this, and you're all smart. It's just going to take you a while to kind of get back into it. All right, let me jump to one with 2 points. I'll just make one up, so I'm not doing a practice one. So let's say 3, 7, and 5, -1. You got to find the equation of the line between those 2 points. Well, I just heard someone say equation of a line, so I'm writing that every single time. Then the point goes here, your x and your y. Well, I got 2 points. You get to pick. You can pick 3 and 7. You can pick 5 and -1. You can pick this or this. You just can't mix and match. So if you take the x value from here, you got to take the y value from here. If you take the x value from here, you got to take the y value from here. So I'm going to use 3 and 7. It doesn't make a bit of difference what you use. It'll all work out in the end. And then I got to find the slope. They didn't give it to me. So this is just one extra step. Now I got to back up and use the slope formula to find the slope. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So -8 over 2. So in this case, my slope is -4. And then distribute to -4x plus 12 plus 7, so -4x plus 19. So equation of a line, I'm writing this every single time. The only time it doesn't work is if it's vertical, and you can kind of figure that out because, like I said, you're going to end up trying to plug undefined in this slot, and it just doesn't make any sense. So your hopefully your brain will be like, oh yeah, that's right, there's something different going on here. And then, if you know the slope, throw it in there. If you don't know the slope, find it first. I'm going to kind of keep going with making up, so I'm not using your practice ones. So another type they'll give you would be through a point, let's say through -1, 4, parallel to y equals, let's say 1/2 x minus 6. Well, what we know about parallel is that parallel lines have the same slope. So this information right here is just trying to tell you that the slope of your line is also a half. So the -6 means nothing to you. It told me it was parallel to this, which means I have to have the same slope of this. So I'm just kind of crossing out this and going, slope is 1/2, and then work through my process that I've been doing. The point goes there, -1 comes 4. So this minus a negative you can throw into a plus. Slope is 1/2. 1/2 x plus 1/2 plus 4, so this would be 1/2 x plus 4.5 or plus 9/2. So again, that same general form here, just a little bit different twist on it. And I'm going to show you one more twist where they'll give you the perpendicular. So let's say through 3, -6, perpendicular to y equals 4x minus 1. And then again, the game is find the equation, find the equation, find the equation. As soon as I hear find the equation, I'm writing this. I have my point, so I'm throwing 3 and the -6 in here. And what is supposed to go in this slot is the slope of the line I'm looking for. Well, what I was told was the line I'm looking for is perpendicular to this one. Perpendicular slopes are negative reciprocals. So if the slope of this line is 4, and I want to be perpendicular to it, I'm going to flip over that 1/4, or flip over the 4, and to negatize it, make it negative. If it was negative to start with, you would make it positive. And then you've got this setup, which is exactly like we had the whole time. You got your point there, you put your slope in there, distribute, and simplify. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. That might be too much explanation. You guys are like, I know this already. Might not be enough, and you're still confused. That's what class is for. We'll figure all that out during the week.